Hi guys, Mark Casey here from TUFF Australia, my good mate Steve Bottrell, our Business Development Manager. And first of all, I'd like to acknowledge all the people who worked on this fantastic build and our client and the family that have chosen us and have trusted us with their Dmax to do this amazing build. So over to you, Steve, take us through this canopy and all the good fruit that's in there.
Yeah, welcome to part two. So obviously now we have the Dmax essentially completed, so to speak. So it's nice to see. Obviously our steel tray and our full alloy canopy is now fitted to it. We've done something pretty cool with this one, Mark.
Yeah.
So I'll get you to open up the door.
I always forget which way these go.
Yeah.
Ta-da!
So we've got our new door activated light that illuminates as soon as you open the door. So just gives that little bit more light. Looks cool. Obviously allows you to find switches and little things before you turn the lights on as well. So
I think one of the things, if you look at this canopy, it looks pretty strong. Like a lot of stuff gets imported into Australia, it doesn't actually have a frame. Well, we've got a whole of a lot of frame in here, all good quality alloy, she ain't going to break.
Definitely. And the way we meet our skins at the top too, Mark, so again it's folded and welded together from the inside, so it just gives the actual sheeting some strength too. And obviously as we weld the inside, it doesn't sort of get that ripple, that roof ripple effect on the top. It looks quite funny too once that's...
So the boys try and TIG weld all the seams on the outside, which looks really nice.
Yep. So this is obviously the inside of the canopy. So again, as you said, it's got all the structural integrity. So whether it's tyres or jerry can holders and ladders and all sorts of weight that you want to put on the back, this canopy's be able to take it. Again, made out of our Australian milled alloy as well, so which is good to say, Aussie made.
For some customers, they might say, well, I want to powder coat the inside as well. But then you're looking into a bat cave, aren't you? It's dark.
It's dark,
where at least the raw alloy, it's a little bit brighter and it reflects light that comes in from the atmosphere.
Yeah, for sure.
We've also got lights up here.
Yeah, so just beside your right arm there, there's a switch. So it's a three-way switch, that one. So you can turn it on for orange. So like if it's... the question always comes, why would you put orange inside a canopy? Orange is a light that allows you to see, obviously, but without attracting so many bugs. So like moths and mozzies and all that sort of stuff. They're not attracted to the orange light as much. So you just tend to use that after you've cooked, or you're sitting around at night getting ready for bed. Like it's warming.
It's very romantic as well, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah,
tough orange.
Another advantage. So it's a three-way switch.
Yeah, correct.
And you can go to white light.
Correct. Then you've got the white light. So if you want that super bright light, you need to be able to see in every nook and cranny. Well, you can with this one. So it's got a 1 metre bar in the centre, and then a 1 metre bar on each of these doors. So once the doors are open both sides, once you can see on the outside of the vehicle as well when you're sitting down around a campfire.
So if you've got to do something on preparing some food or filleting some fish, you've got your light above.
Yeah, that's right.
Also keeps a bit of rain off too.
Definitely.
And we make these so that they have a seal up here, so you can't get rain coming in when you open the door. Yeah, some people like the tradies and that they've got their tools and they're working underneath.
Yep.
And then the rain comes in.
Yeah.
So we've done a lot of work to try and seal it. It takes a lot of time, but we're trying to get that waterproof happening.
Definitely. Nothing worse than opening the door and all the water running inside.
We've also got some nice little details here with the way it's cut out. This is our hex shape or honeycomb shape that we put on a lot of our stuff now. So that's all been cut out on the laser just to give it a little bit of strength in that door so it doesn't twist or flop around.
Yeah, that's right.
A bit of solidity.
Yeah, definitely. Stops the door flexing if you get someone trying to pry into it as well.
We've got our toolboxes here.
Yes, this is our angled toolbox. So as you can see, plenty of room. Nice big thick seal there as well, so keep the water and dust out as much as possible. I like these too because they're flared. They've got the flared side on them.
Yeah, just protects stone chips getting up on the side of it. Now with this one as well, we can lift off the canopy with our jacks, drive away.
Yep.
Put our tray sides on. Yep. Carry gear for work or whatever.
That's right.
You've got that.
Go and grab a load of dirt or whatever it may be.
Yeah, it's by far the most popular setup for a canopy now, and as you said, it's alloy, so it's a bit lighter than steel.
Definitely.
So we've got ABS, the blind spot monitors there as well.
Yeah.
So we'll have a bit of a look at those. They're very solidly made, designed by our engineers. We've got the 3D printed cover there, so that will cover you for your blind spot monitors.
Yeah. Nice and strong, especially when you're doing tub removals too.
And this is a Ripper black finish, so it's got a primer on there.
Yep.
It's first of all blasted with garnet, then it's got a primer, and then it's got the Ripper black. So you get that really good quality finish.
Correct.
What have we got here, Steve?
So that's our...
Fill that with beer.
Absolutely, be a nice, good sized keg actually. Be nice. Yeah, this is obviously our water tank that's manufactured into the recess of our headboard.
Yep.
So just to try and hide as much of the tank as possible, keep it out of the road, so without looking too bulky. We've got our little brass tap down the bottom there, so again you can connect a hose to this one. Some clients actually have a pump set up to it so they can run showers or
under pressure.
Fill their water tanks.
We make these. We take these out of stainless steel.
Correct. They're all TIG welded out of stainless. Yep.
And they're strapped up to the frame with a rubber between the straps and the tank, so that we're reducing any of that vibration that can cause issues with your stainless on the corners of the welds. And
Correct.
We fold these as much as possible to get away from the sharp edges, which can cause a weakness.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's some smart engineering involved in that tank.
So water or beer, it's up to you.
Yeah,
whatever you want to put in there.
Either or.
All right, here we are at the back of this lovely Dmax.
Correct.
Got jerry can holders. We got trundle drawers. You name it.
Exactly. So yeah, again, nice bolt-on jerry can holder. It's got a little TUFF logo with some stainless in behind it too, just to sort of give us that nice look. Also match the roller drawer underneath. So take water, 20 litres of diesel, 20 litres of petrol if you're carting a generator, or if you're travelling with someone that needs it, you can carry it for them as well. It's got our under tray drawer, obviously inside, so it's got a nice deep drawer, nice big long drawer there. So again, just a bit more storage for these clients. You know, when you've got the back full of gear and you want to access tools or something like that, well then you've got a nice easy spot you can grab them from too. So,
excellent.
Fully lockable, of course. The keys are actually inside the vehicle in this one. And again, at the back we've got our custom round LED taillights.
They look cool.
They dress it up nicely. They really do. Now we've done, obviously, with our great team of engineers, we design our trays to incorporate the factory sensors in there, so we don't have a plastic mount that holds it on the underside or under the lip or anything. So just to protect them a bit more.
It's all nice and neat.
It is, yeah, absolutely. So that's obviously on both sides of those.
I think we fitted a Towbar as well on the hitch.
Yep. So the Hayman Resse Towbar is now completed, so all wired up, ready for the clients to load up their caravan.
And this is bolted through with 4 bolts onto the structure inside.
Yep.
We've also, the boys have also put a bit of Sikaflex between the jerry can holder and the body, so that you're just tidying up any vibration and stuff. You can help with that.
Yep.
Got a hell of a strong rack up here.
Exactly right. So this one's got our screen door mesh rack on the top of the canopy. Again, you mentioned all the integrity inside the canopy. So this is that's what holds everything on the roof.
Yeah.
So, you know, whether they're putting a 3'6" tinny up there or motor and whatever, you can do it. It's no problem at all with that. So on this tough rack.
So you could put the tinny up there and the mother-in-law, could you? Tie her on.
Couple of child seats. Here we are on the passenger side of the vehicle, Mark.
We've got some cool stuff here.
Correct.
Looks very neat.
Correct. So this is exactly what the client wanted. Again, we like to do that at TUFF. We like to be able to have the sockets and Anderson plugs and volt gauges and all sorts of different things, whether it's red arc BMS systems, the red vision systems, doesn't matter. This client wanted this particular setup. So again, he's got his fuse box holder here. So essentially what this does is this is where all the fuses are housed.
Yeah.
So if he was to say connect something in here, reverse polarity, it would then blow the fuse in there. So the client can go, oh, where do I find the fuse? Well, it's in here. Yeah. And it's labelled too. So basically, so it'll be lights and SIG socket and Anderson plug and all the rest of it.
Any spare fuses in there?
Yes.
So it's good to have a couple.
Yes, correct. I don't know. I haven't actually opened that one. But again, it's nice and simple. You just turn that and that just pops
away you
off.
go.
So it's nice and easy to use. Nice neat wiring. So everything we do here at TUFF is obviously heat shrunk. Yeah. So on each side, they're soldered, heat shrunk. And then we also conduit. So we didn't in this situation because the hole size you've got to drill here to put conduit through it doesn't look lovely. Big, we try and keep that as needed. So what we do is we actually countersink the holes. So that way there's no edge on it.
Yeah, so getting any sharp edge. We've got the Anderson plug there as well, ready to go.
Yep, correct. So that's the conduit I'm talking about. Nice and easy to do with an Anderson plug. But again, like with so many wires, you take a lot of material out of one section of it.
Yeah.
So you don't like to
do that.
It's got our angle socket and accessory socket. So an angle socket nowadays is used for a lot of fridges predominantly. Angle, Waco, you know, there's a lot of different brands out there that all use that legendary plug. So it just essentially pushes in, then you screw the top down and
secure.
you can't pull it out.
Oh yeah, that's great.
So no matter what roads this client goes on, his fridge isn't going to come unplugged and his
Yeah, I hate
milk
those
off.
normal ones you plug in with the 2 bits of metal on the edge. They
Yeah,
just vibe
that's right.
crap.
Because
Anyway.
no one wants hot beer.
No, exactly.
And again, there's our little light there that's door switch activated as well. So
Lovely.
So
Very nice.
you can see in the bottom, so if the client, when the client wants to unbolt the canopy too, so there's the 4 points that you undo and just lift the whole canopy off with those jack-off legs as you explained.
Beautiful. That's we got some interesting things here at the front. There's a fuel filler.
Yeah, correct.
And
so we've also got our Anderson plugs here, so our quick connect system. So again, if the client wants to pull this canopy off, just an unplug, unbolt, gone, done. So
Make it easy, so you don't have to use a screwdriver or disconnect.
Correct.
Just plug it out, as long as you remember to do that.
Yeah, that's right. Now, one of the things that we have done recently too here, as you're aware, Mark, is the fact that this X-Terrain was a tub body when it first came here. So when we removed it, they don't have a lockable fuel filler because they've all got the fuel flap on them.
Oh, yeah.
So what we've done here is we've used the Brown Davis fuel filler. We've adapted it to our mount, obviously. So this is now lockable. So the key for that's on the car key ring now,
Yeah.
obviously. But it just stops anyone getting
Yeah,
into
there's a bit
it
of peace
as
of
well.
mind.
Correct.
Yeah.
Nice and neat, as you can see, everything's tucked down
Now
neatly.
obviously when we put this canopy on, the client puts all his gear in for camping and touring around Australia. It's putting a bit of weight on, but we've covered the suspension upgrade and GVM we did for this.
Correct.
So,
Yep.
and just looking at the way the car's sitting, it's
Yes.
just really nice and ready to go.
It is. And it's so important to do that. And again, this one's got the 6900 GCM.
Yeah.
So essentially what that means is the combined mass it can take cannot exceed 6.9 tonne.
Well,
It's a 3.6 upgrade. So yeah, again, when you're towing, you've still got a lot of tow capacity there.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can see it's sitting perfectly how it should be. So front down, rear up a little bit. Again, there's nothing in there. The tanks, the water tank's empty. The thing's got to have diesel. But when you're also putting 300 kilos of bore weight on the tow bar, you're going to have that seesaw effect.
Yeah.
So again, once they do that vehicle with the van connected, it's going to sit just nose down a fraction, which is an ultimate setup for handling.
Where you really want it to be. We've got the dual battery system in here. We will talk about that.
Yes, correct. So in this little toolbox, we've got the Red Arc. So I've used a hardcore battery, so it's a 100 amp hour lithium battery. Why we use lithium, and as you know, with a cordless drill, it just runs and runs and runs until that battery goes completely dead flat. This battery is exactly the same. So it'll run the fridge right the way through until that is completely dead flat, and then the battery management system inside the battery will then cut it out.
I can't believe how light those batteries are.
It's
About half
amazing.
the weight you'd expect of a normal heavy-duty battery.
Correct, it is. It is absolutely, and it gives you the ability
100 amp hours.
Yeah, if you want to run, say, 200 amp hour, it's still, so if you've got a 200 amp hour battery, it's still not as heavy as an AGM battery.
Yeah.
And that's
Unbelievable.
amazing. And obviously the discharge rate, is fantastic. So whether it's coffee machines you're running, inverters, kettles, all that sort of stuff.
It's got it all labelled in here for canopy or solar.
Yeah,
where
correct.
you can connect everything up, ready to go.
So this one's monitored by a Red Arc 40 amp BC-DC charger too. So it's mounted up here in the box itself.
all right.
So so that unit is completely 100% dust-proof, waterproof. You can submerge it 4 meters underwater. It doesn't matter. It's a resin-filled charger. It's Australian-made too, and it is the quickest charger on the market out of any of the.
So if I get my
BC-DC
solar
chargers.
panel or my fold-out solar blanket or sheet, I can just plug it in.
Correct. So this client doesn't have the solar setup, although what we do here at TUFF is we take that little bit more care. So essentially what we do is we run the solar wire down to a MIDI fuse. So that way it's ready to go. So if the client came to whoever, someone in Darwin, someone in Northern Territory, doesn't matter, it's simple for them because all they've got to do is run the power wire for the solar from that MIDI fuse straight to the back of the toolbox and put an Anderson plug on the back of it.
Yep.
And then earth it. Done.
Ready to
So
go.
it's ready. It's already partly set up. So that's the difference between putting a dual battery system in a vehicle and putting a dual battery system in a vehicle and taking pride in it. That's what we do.
Just
here
a
at
little
TUFF.
bit of attention to detail.
Yeah.
It takes a bit longer, obviously,
Correct.
but the customers are, trusting us to do a good job.
Correct.
Yeah, we want to make them happy.
Yeah, and versatility too. You know, if they want to add stuff, they can do, and it's not an inconvenience, nor is it going to cost them another 10 hours labour.
Yeah,
it's simple.
It's ready to go.
Correct.
So do we want to head up to the front and have a look at what we've got there? So here we are at the front of this beautiful Dmax, which has got a lot of fruit on it. Someone's going to be very happy for Christmas with this one. I don't know how Santa's going to get it down the chimney, but it's got the TUFF 5 poster on it.
Correct. So it's got our 60mm alloy 5-post TUFF bar. Now it's got our winch compatible bar in it too.
Got a winch in it too.
Yes, correct. So we've got everything you can do at the front essentially has been done to this one. So as I say, it's got our alloy bar, 5-post. It's complemented with our alloy double rail and step as well. So again, it just keeps that little bit of weight off the front, as opposed to a steel model. Except the integrity of the alloy is, far stronger than a lot of other steel manufacturing bars out there on the market. So which is really, really important, especially when you're putting this sort of thing on a vehicle. It's got the VRS 9,500 pound winch in it. So you can see the winch hook's just there. So it's well designed because the fair lead actually sits perfectly nicely with the bottom of the channel of the bar.
Yeah.
So again, you've got full access to whether you're winching up, down, depending on what vehicle it's stuck in.
So if you're stuck, you got your winch.
Yep.
Obviously, you're going to be driving out in the bush. You got your TUFF spotties there.
Yes, these are our own TUFF spotties, as we know. They're a fantastic light. They're 1,250 meters at 1 lux.
Yeah.
And they're 160 watts of LED power in behind there. So for a mid-range light, they certainly give the market leaders a run.
Yeah, value for money.
Correct.
They're very strong, very sturdy. That whole casing or the structure of the light.
That's right.
It isn't going to break.
Full cast alloy housing, powder-coated black stainless bracket, and it's got the triple bolt access too. So again, you've got 3 bolts holding it rather than 1.
Yeah.
Quite important too, because some of the roads here in Australia that our clients see, unfortunately, without it, you've got lights falling off bull bars.
I think the roads everywhere are a bit crap at the moment. Around Queensland anyway. We've got our nice aerial setup here.
Correct. So we've got our Uniden UHF, and that's the antenna, and then we've obviously got our Cel-Fi, so that's a 5G compatible Cel-Fi antenna.
The Cel-Fi is where I get to boost my mobile phone signal.
Correct.
So if I need to use the phone or an emergency or whatever,
correct.
The Cel-Fi really, it has a massive effect on that boost, doesn't it?
Well, it does. And the thing is, and see, Cel-Fis, I find this as a topic that's not commonly discussed, and you don't see a lot of videos and stuff like that on it. But see, you get clients call up and say, I've got a Cel-Fi, I'm in town, it hasn't changed anything. That's absolutely correct, and it won't. So if you're in a perfectly good signal area, that's not going to do anything. It's when you go remote, so then you've got that antenna working for you to pick up the tower reception to transfer it to your phone. So that's when your Cel-Fi works, when you get into the outback where there is little to no signal. So
you're scratching to get your signal. And this will give you the signal. So you got your phone reception working, and you got your UHF. So you got emergency channels. You can talk to someone if you need a hand.
That's right.
So your communications are covered there.
Yeah.
We've got our parking sensors there. We've got our LED. Now, some people ask us, wouldn't that be much nicer in the channel?
Yeah.
Why don't we put them in the channel, Steve? What's the problem?
Exactly right. So essentially what it does, and why we don't do it, is there's a lot of manufacturers out there that put it up here in this channel, whether it's the Foglights, whether it's the indicators.
Wouldn't that look lovely?
The problem is when you're cutting out the sections to house it, you've only got this much material, that much material, that much material either side. There's no strength in it, Mark.
So I'm weakening the channel.
Correct.
That's why we don't do it, because we've got a name for strong bull bars, and we don't want to
compromise
that.
Exactly. So what we've done is we've simply just made a bracket welded to the bottom of the channel that houses our indicators down there.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, that's more protected because it sits behind the channel and behind
your pig rail or your bottom catcher.
So again, if you have a roof strike or something like that, unfortunately, you're not going to hit the indicator. So who wants to keep buying indicators in bull bars?
We don't always advertise this because we're so busy building bull bars. We do look after our clients and repair them. So if you get a bit of a mesh pops out, a big bloody red kangaroo goes through it, we do repair them for our customers.
Of course we can, definitely. And you'll notice too, when we've done the antennas, everything's P-clamp. You see a lot of fittings these days where they're just zip tied around the bars. Again, the sun, these are in the sun all the time. Zip ties and sun last
Zip ties are
maybe
handy
8 months if you like.
tying people up maybe, but not necessarily for this sort of stuff.
Yeah, so we P-clamp everything. Here we are at the front, Mark.
Let's get under the
bonnet
hood.
Open.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Here's a good angle. You can actually see behind those driving lights from here as
Look
well.
at those heat sinks on them.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, cast alloy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it dissipates the heat very, very well. You can see too when we wire these driving lights, we don't just hook the wires up, push the plugs in and you're done, so to speak. So we actually take some, you know, a fair bit of care here. So we've got obviously the twin sheath wiring like any harnesses come with. We also add a section of the single sheath conduit over it as well. Then we've also heat shrunk the ends. So
get that waterproof effect.
Correct. And insulation tape around there to hold that on. Again, water and rain doesn't last. So
doesn't last. A bit of dust and
correct.
And it also looks pretty
definitely
rough.
We've got our VRS control box we mount in here behind the post. Again, it's all about protection.
And that's bolted onto the post as well.
Yes, correct. Yeah,
two nice little neat bolts on the top there.
Yep, and then that's the wireless being connected to that, so that'll be run up in behind the grille there. So
what about this? This doesn't look normal, mate. What's going on? A bit of custom alloy there.
Yeah, so basically, as we discussed, the GVM Upgrade's 3.6 tonne on the vehicle, but we've done the 6.9 GCM. So essentially, the difference, it's the same kit, we're just adding a Lovells cooling system. So essentially, this is a radiator. It's made by PWR, and you'll see that stamped on there, of course. Made for Lovells. They're such a, they're Australian-made radiator. They've got such a fantastic name, and there's never ever an issue with it.
Just look at the quality of the welding. Compared to the plastic stuff that you get that comes standard with a vehicle, these look just schmick, don't they?
Definitely.
And this is going to keep everything cooler.
Yeah.
So you're going to get a little bit more fuel economy, a little bit more performance, and then when you're dragging something along, it's going to keep everything from getting too hot.
Let's keep your engine temperatures at bay. The last thing you want to be doing is towing a van and going, oh, I'm getting hot, I need to back off.
It's the old story, oh, geez, look at my fuel gauge going up the hill.
Yes, that's right. Exactly right. So that's what we do there. That's the Lovells cooling system. Now, beside that in the Dmax, it's great because we've got enough room to mount these together. So we've got the Provent catch can here. So basically, simple lid, you've got the filter inside. So that's what filters your oil vapors. So essentially what it does, so for emissions, they put the crankcase breather into the intake system. That's the easiest way to explain it.
Yeah.
So what we do is we actually put a filter in line. What it does is that this takes all the oil vapors out of the air before it goes through the main intercooler of the vehicle and through all the intake piping before it goes back into the air intake system.
The thing is, it's great for emissions control and we're all happy, nice tree-hugging greenies, but you're putting crap back into your car, aren't you?
Yeah, well,
Without this.
You are.
This is like a thing that you really need to have on every diesel along with your pre-fuel filter.
Correct. So essentially what this does is it stops your intercoolers blocking up. So the more carbon you get through your intercooler, the harder the intercooler is going to work before it eventually does.
Carbon's not good stuff. It's really hard. It's really hard to get out.
Correct. So it's easier to filter it as an oil vapor rather than before it turns into a carbon. So again, this is a must-have in any diesel. I've got it in mine. I'd recommend it to everyone that I do. Also now there's a lot of OEM or vehicle manufacturers doing this as a genuine part. Finally,
they should be putting it in.
Which is great.
And one of the problems if you're out in the bush or you're wherever and you get a bit of fuel, the Bowser might be sitting out in the heat and cold. It can get algal bloom in the diesel. It can get water in there.
Absolutely.
That the contaminants without that pre-filter get into your motor and they can do in your injectors.
Correct.
And
so
once you said, if I do the injectors in on a Dmax, we're talking about a lot of coin.
Correct. So it's not only your injectors, it's the whole common rail system. So because the common rails are so pressurized
40,000 PSI is a minimum.
Correct. Water doesn't compress.
No.
So unfortunately it bends objects. So what we've got here in this instance, so this is the top of the line filter. So it's not only a water separator kit, this has also got a built-in alarm and a light inside the cab where we'll get to that.
Really?
So what it does, if it senses any water, the water trap alarm will go off in the cab so the client can pull straight over and turn the car off. By then, once they've done that, the water, it'll trap as much water as it can before it just physically can't take any more and it travels through. But it'll give them the time to stop, drain everything out before they restart so they don't do any engine damage at all.
That's tech. That's
Correct.
advanced.
So again, Direction Plus, we use the we use their stuff. Everything's nice, neat. It's all black anodized.
The way stainless steel bracket there.
Yep, absolutely.
Is that Australian made as well?
So these are actually they use a man filter, so it's actually German made. The man Hayman, I think it is. I can't remember off the top of my head. But again, really, really good quality.
Germans make good stuff.
They do, absolutely. And you can see here when we fit this too, we haven't just run the hoses like just through. We've actually taken the time to actually P-clamp the hoses to stop vibration. So again, when a motor's idling,
neat, isn't it?
It is. When a motor's idling, there's nothing worse than being outside the car. Oh, shivers, what's wrong with that thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That eliminates all those little things. So it's just that little bit more. So,
well, this vehicle has gone to the outback, gone bush. You want to have ultimate reliability.
Correct.
And that's, I guess, what the client was asking for.
Exactly. Also, while we're under the bottom too, under the bonnet, basically we've got the Safari snorkels being added to this one.
Oh, yeah.
So you can see here it goes into the airbox as a 3-inch pipe, and then there's this little section that we basically, it's like another plastic section that rivets in with 2 sheets of steel to allow 3-inch of air induction straight into that airbox. So that engine's always getting cool, clean air at all times.
Sometimes we only think of Safari snorkel as just for when I go through a lot of water, so I don't get water in the engine. But there's a lot more to it than that. And the other thing is it, stops you taking in dust. I don't know where it would normally come in on this. When a lot of them are on the wheel, in the wheel arch, that dusty air is getting in. Well, what about fuel economy, cooler engine performance?
Correct. That's exactly
the
right.
3-inch.
It all adds to it. So again, with the Torqit 304 grade stainless steel exhaust system, this Safari snorkel is actually complementing that. So it's making sure that this engine's always got the air it needs to run, and then the exhaust gets it away.
Yeah.
So again, it's all about fuel economy. So that alone helps just...
Yeah, you don't really think about a snorkel, but it does have a considerable effect on your fuel economy.
My word. And plus it saves you buying air filters every 2,000 Ks too if you're in the dirt. So very, very good investment, and should have one on each vehicle.
So do we want to have a little look in the cabin? There's a few little items in there from Santa Claus.
Yep, absolutely. Got to be honest, the Dmax is quite comfortable. I like it.
Interior is lovely.
It is. So further to our discussions up front, I was talking about that water alarm. So basically, if the fuel system gets any water in it, so there's our little light there, and there's and behind the dash is a little alarm box. So that's the item that buzzes as soon as it senses water, and then you'll have that light activate as well. So it gets you aware in all different types of ways. You can see how in this area as well, while we're here, that's our driving light switch. So we don't cut driving light switches into dashes. We try and use as many of the OE style switches as we can. So again, here it's just a nice press button switch. It's a no drill, no cut fit.
Yeah, it's very
really
neat
switch. And then we've got the Red Arc Tow Pro Elite electric brakes. So that's the inertia sensing electric brake unit. Again, that's by far it's automatic and manual in one. It's a really, really good system. It's Australian made, obviously made by Red Arc, of course.
Yeah,
so
good products.
Good product. And again, we've used an OE replica, blank that Red Arc actually make for this vehicle in particular. So again, no drill fitment. If the client wants to take it out and put it in his next car, he can. He's not going to have a big hole in his dash. So.
And you got your UHF there ready to go also?
Yep, that's right. So we've got the Uniden X-Track in here, ready to go. So yeah, again, when we fit these, we don't actually mount the hand pieces. We leave that up to the client because there's so many different positions that different clients want it.
Depending where they want it.
So we never mount it unless obviously the client says, I want it right there, then we'll mount it there for them, no problem at all.
Here we are at the side of this lovely vehicle, and
yes,
got the brush rails and the Clearview mirrors.
Correct, so that's our 60mm alloy double side rail into the single step, of course. So all chassis mounted, as you're aware. Obviously the rails are braced in between too, and we've got our nice little TUFF cutout in the side too, just so.
Well, that's going to keep scrub and stuff off the scratching the side of the car. It really helps.
Correct.
Besides adding strength to the whole vehicle and the integrity of it.
That's right, exactly. And it also, supports this side. So if the client was to have a roof strike from the side of the vehicle, again, this will all hold that from, crumpling, so to speak. In. That's right. Also, we've got our Clearview Next Gens. So we've added these to the Dmax, of course, because the client will be towing. Caravans, boats, you know, you're not restricted then for your mirrors, and you can have these positioned wherever
They're a
best
lovely
suits the
mirror.
driver. They are. They're a brilliant mirror. They're Australian made too, which is really, really good.
The two elements here, like the little...
Yeah, correct.
So you're blind, I guess that's for a blind spot.
Yes, so a couple of uses, and it's, that's exactly what it is. It is a blind spot monitor. It's actually, well, they call it a convex mirror. This is your flat electric, so this retains the electric adjustment that the factory mirrors had.
Right,
so this is still adjustable from in the cab.
Up.
This one's actually manual.
Yeah.
So you can, Clearview's design is absolutely pristine with this. So depending on the caravan the clients have got, you can set your blind spot monitor to see your blind spot, but you can also have the corner, because it's pivotable, the van tyres, just catches the van tyre, so you can, you know, make sure that you're not going to get a flat tyre, or if you do get a flat tyre, you see the darn thing. So nothing worse than doing that and wrecking a rim and all that as well. So again, big shout out to Clearview for those. They're
Australian made as well.
Yep, sure are, absolutely. Available as a Cat 6 indicator on the bottom. Some vehicles have a puddle light as well, so it'll retain the factory puddle light option that the vehicles come with. In this instance, we obviously didn't order this as a Cat 6. Even though it's got the 3.6 GVM upgrade, it must have Cat 6 indicators. We've actually put them into the guard here.
So we've got that covered as well,
there. Correct, so that's completely covered.
So there we are.
It is.
It's a very nice
Dmax
present from Santa Claus for this this client. We're delighted to see this come to fruition. It's put a lot of work into it, and you know, it's easy for us to talk about it, but it's all the guys that, you know, welded together, the people in TUFF Coatings that coated, the people that fit it. Everyone plays a part, and we always got to remember to thank them, and obviously the client and the dealers, the motor dealers that work with us. So
absolutely,
there you go.
To see.
Let's go on an adventure in this baby.
Thanks again.